But the quote you said, I was disconnected. It wasn't till I started to work on myself and the way I lead my company that everything started to turn around. So, rather than wallow or get jaded and blame everybody else.
This is the worst.
It sounds like you just kind of turned that internally. So can you shed a little light on what that looked like, and then your process for saying, okay, this is what I need to do to, so you go from one van, you build it up, and then kind of it blows up a little bit, right? At the halfway point.
Yeah. So we eventually stopped doing carpet cleaning and transitioned into restoration, and we scaled that. I think we were at like 3.5 million, 4 million, something like that. And then I thought I had built a good culture because I was kind of goal focused, and I helped our employees try to reach for their goals and set goals with them personally. And really, I thought I poured into the team, when in reality, I think more doing it selfishly, so I could get their buy-in, and so I could get their commitment and and so I think more of it came from a selfish place. And so the company started going kind of south. There was team issues, there was conflict, there was I was starting not to trust all my team members, and sometimes some of them I didn't even care for too much.
Sure.
And I had made a commitment to myself I wouldn't build a business around people that I didn't want to be around. And so it got to that point where I didn't even feel like coming into the office really. I'm like, I'd rather kind of stay away. So I started to disconnect. Disconnect from the office, disconnect from the company. And even I had built some good systems and processes and marketing so it could kind of operate on its own. So I pulled back, and then there just started to be lots of issues and challenges.
Yeah.
And so I ended up hiring a coach. I'm a huge proponent of coaches and hiring coaches or consultants to help identify your blind spots. And so I hired a coach, Amit Kathari, great guy. And he came into our business and totally worked with me. He's like, hey, nothing's wrong with your team. He's like, it's the person that's leading the team that is the issue. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I thought I was doing a great job.
Can I ask, was he a property restoration specific, or what was that? I guess I was talking to another guy about, how you go through that process. Did you hire him based on a specific aspect that you wanted to target, or what was that process for you?
Yeah, so it was basically just coming in to help support and change around our company structure, our team. It just wasn't operating at the level I thought it should be. So I figured, hey, let me bring in a pro. So this guy is not industry specific. He was just a high level leadership coach.
Okay.
He was a leadership and executive coach. He'd worked for a couple $100 million companies and worked with their executive teams and helped them scale their businesses through developing the CEO and then developing all their executive management and then eventually all their managers.
Yeah.
That's kind of his skill set, as he helps on the leadership side and also strategy side too.
Yeah.
So I brought him in, and he really identified, hey, you as a leader need to make some major changes for sure to get this thing to the next level. It starts with you. And so he ended up working with me, and I did a bunch of introspective work and read some books and just dove deep into being the best leader I could be. We ended up switching out a couple, I'd say probably 30 to 40% of our team because they were no longer the right fit, right? I had people in the company that I had started with that I had outgrown.
Okay.
Or people that were also kind of negative and weren't the right cultural fit.
Yeah.
Good people, but just weren't the right cultural fit. So we switched out some people, and that started the journey, right, with me personally. And then I was able to start holding my own commitments, start coming from a place of servant leadership instead of selfish leadership, and really start loving on the team and being a leader that leads from the front. And that made a big difference.
Do you, I'm wondering, I've always appreciated finding people, like you said, cultural fit. For me, it's been, are you hardworking, willing to learn, and honest, right? Kind of the three things that I can't give you those three things. I can teach you, like you said, you came in with no experience with carpet cleaning, you learned it. But I can't make somebody honest. I can't make them hardworking, and I can't make them willing to learn. If you look back on it, do you see has it been harder, or do you believe there's any correlation to getting people that are kind of fresh and training them in your way as opposed to trying to retrain bad habits from somebody that might have worked at another company?
Yeah. We used to hire based on experience because I was newer to the industry. So that did help out initially.
Sure.
However, now we 100% hire based on cultural fit. So we have assessments that we run, DISC assessments, personality profiles, and then we have our core values, COMET, COMET, which is collaborate, own it, mindful, efficiency, and then thirst for learning. COMET, COMET, which is collaborate, own it, mindful, efficiency, and then thirst for learning.
Is it possible to learn this power?
Which is how a lot of companies operate. They're like, no, I give people, my team, the ability to make decisions on their own. I'm like, great. Do they know how that decision affected the net profit of the company, or affected the cost of goods sold, or affected the other areas of the balance sheet? The numbers are one of the most important things in the business. And so I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to implement it's called Great Game of Business. It's a whole process where you're fully transparent with the numbers.
There's no fair. There's no fair. Who's against the rules?
So we literally have our profit and loss, exact numbers on our whiteboard in our office. So if you walk into our office right now, you'll see our revenue, you'll see our cost of goods sold, all our expenses, materials, you'll see our overhead costs, you'll see our salaries, you'll see the marketing expenses, you'll see all the line items all the way down to net profit and profitability. So our entire team, all 36 employees, they see those numbers, and they report on those numbers. So what we've done is we've given every employee a line item, and they're responsible for owning that line item and reporting that line item. So somebody may have office supplies, and so they'll be responsible every week for saying, hey, how much should we spend on office supplies? Okay, cool. And then they're responsible for reporting that number and sharing that number with the entire team. We meet once a week, the whole company, and we share that information. So the company is fully in alignment. They know the numbers. They know how the month is going to end before I used to even know the month was going to end. So they have such good clarity around the numbers. And so they're all bonused. So we actually bonus the team based on the profitability. So the whole company, every single employee.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
There you go.
Well, and that one tech that, it may seem silly, but I can remember, a string of months where our office supplies were just out of whack. And so if that employee is watching that, they're saying, why are we at 30% of our year-to-year average, on office supplies, So it all adds up, right? Especially if you go into a lean month or.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was on IAQ Radio, Claude Blackburn of Dry Ease. He said similar. I don't remember exactly the structure, but he said when we started sharing the financials and when we incentivized people, very simply and flatly, he goes, I made more money than I've ever made, because it opened up an incentive and it was transparent, right? You knew what people were doing, and everybody wanted everybody to make money, so, and they understood it better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think most owners don't do it because they're afraid that their employees will think they make too much.
Sure.
When in reality, a lot of times employees actually think the owners make more than they do. We did a survey. We said, hey, what do you think our net profit is of our company?
Yeah.
And so guess what the number was?
They probably
percentage was.
If I had to, like 50% or something.
50%. Yeah. They thought we were making 50%.
Yeah.
So if we did 9 million, we're making 4.5 million net income. That's in my pocket, right?
Clearly you make 10 and 10, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.